Welcome biggity back, guys. It's your boy LG Shirley here. I got a new banger for y'all from Tucker Carlson Network called They're Overweight, Entitled, and Liberal. Nick Fuentes goes off on modern women. I think recently Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes sat down at Tucker Carlson's place. Let's dive into this and see what we can find out.
Why aren't people married?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's the women. The women are extremely liberal. No one talks about that. They're increasingly they do, especially after the last election. There's a 45-point diff.
Okay, so before he says what he's going to say, I actually think there's a small shift starting to happen right now. A lot of guys talking about women on the male perspective. They're painting women as the problem. However, you can't paint, what they don't realize is you can't paint somebody else as the problem. They're trying to look at the whole picture and say the reason is because of women. Here's the thing. Women have free will, and whether some men like it or not, women can drive themselves into the ground and never sleep with a man or sleep with a million women, and that's their prerogative, and that's what every living organism deserves to get. That's called freedom. However, should we be holding everyone accountable for their actions? Yes. Should we as men realize, and women, that if we keep talking about this as a gender thing, it's going to be a problem? But there are men and women that have traumatic problems that have inspired a host of other problems within them. They are codependent, they're selfish, they're overly narcissistic. Relationships are a difficult thing to navigate, and ultimately I think it comes down to both people embracing their ideas about feeling for the other one, yet also putting themselves first, and understanding that you can't pour into someone else's cup unless you're pouring into your own. And that balance as a person leads you to develop your personality and take your opinions and realize that maybe 50% of people are going to like you and 50% of people are not going to care if they have anything to do with you. And just realize that as a person, you use your discernment to safeguard against meeting bogus people, i.e. people that have problems. Okay, so let's see what Nick's response is.
Difference between men and women. The men are extremely conservative, increasingly. The women are extremely liberal.
What are they liberal on? What issues? Like, what does that mean, liberal?
They're very feminist.
Like, actually?
Extremely feminist, yes.
They don't believe that, do they?
I think they do.
Really?
Absolutely,
How
yes.
How could you believe that?
I think
gender roles are a construct, that none of this is inborn? Like, you'd have to be an idiot to think that.
They like the idea of it. They like because of course I think all women naturally want strong men.
Well, let's say this. To the extent that toxic people within any movement, be that racial equality or gender equality, I mean, we should be treating everyone the same. And of course, there are differences in men and women. However, as individuals, like I said, we all get free will, and that is our greatest gift. And we're all receiving downloads from Source. We're all creating and manifesting our future. So only we know what we are supposed to do. Here's the thing though, we should be educating people about how wonderful a family is. We should be educating people to the extent, like we educate in everything, how easy it's going to be to find a mate at these different ages. There is truth to that study of how, fast you're going to be able to find a mate or when the best time is. There are things when it comes to a woman's biology right now, currently, it might all change in the future with genetic manipulation and becoming younger again, who knows? But there are times when a woman can conceive a healthier child, and that drops off rapidly after, I think, 35. You start having a much higher chance to have a disabled child in some regard. Anyway, let's see what they continue to say.
They naturally want a Chad. They want like a tall, buff guy. But I think they like the idea of none of them want to work.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a
Ugh.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Of course,
right.
It's obviously true. It's always been true. Work outside the home.
Right.
They don't have enough work at home. There's a lot to do. But no, I completely agree. So that's why I question they're feminists in what sense?
Yes. And they like these vague appeals to equality. We want a chance to work and we want respect. And ultimately, I think the whole political system is just based around women never being accountable for any of their choices. Ultimately, that seems to be that's what abortion is.
Yeah, of course.
Because 99% of abortions are elective. So they say it's an unplanned pregnancy. You had sex out of wedlock with someone you didn't intend to have kids with. So now we have to kill the kids in the womb. And, these no-fault divorce laws. These women get married to guys maybe they never intend to stay with. And then when they're out, they're done. And they want child support and they want half the stuff. And I think a lot of men are looking at women and they're very liberal. They're overweight. They have a very high estimation of themselves. I think that people call it hoflation.
Hoflation?
Yes, their sense of their own looks and sexual.
I mean, you already heard what I said just a moment ago, but I think there's things he's saying. He's kind of mixing the truth in with where I was mentioning that a lot of the guys like Nick, it sounds like Tucker, have got it wrong. You can have your cake and eat it too in life, right? Like, you need to understand, women like competing too, when it comes to finding a mate. So they don't have a problem all trying to get the same guy. And yeah, some people are going to be unhappy, but in life, you have to test your mettle. And anyway, props to these guys for sitting down to discuss it. Let's hear a little bit more.
Value is very inflated. And so a lot of people are looking at these frumpy, obnoxious, loudmouth, liberal women who are also very promiscuous and saying this is not actually appealing at all. And I don't want to start a family with a person.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, it is.
But if you believe in the patriarchy, as I fervently do, because
see, we need to understand, and I think the new generation is already like this. And by new generation, I mean the 17, 18-year-olds out right now. I think anybody does whatever they want to do, but you do have to understand people like people who are pleasant. They call it submitting now. If I hang out with a friend, I want it to be enjoyable. That means a lot of people like to, rib each other, and I think that's all fun, but it's sometimes with everything that I'm working on in my life, I just want things to be easy. I want somebody just to kind of give me no surprises and just make things gel nicely and relaxed without getting my blood pressure up. And that's why I like a lot of old guys. I've hung out with a lot of old guys and they call me the young guy, and I say, well, they say I was born in 1986, but I say they say because that gives me a little spiritual wiggle room. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. But anyway, let's hear a little bit more of this, shall we?
It's just reality. We didn't choose the system. We were born into a system that is part of nature, can't get out of it. So if you believe that that's true, which it is, then you think that men should lead. And if it's going to be better, men should make it better because that's their job.
Right.
So you don't want to give them a pass, do you? And be like, it's all the girls suck. So
I don't even blame it on the women, because I think that it's the incentive structures. Women are allowed to do this by the legal system, by kind of social norms. Technology is a big part of it. The attention that is available to women. Women go on Instagram and they get attention from thousands of men. So it's the incentives. But I would say that, because I hear this all the time, people say, well, the men need to step up and be better and lead the women. Easier said than done.
Of course, I agree with that.
They're at war with the system, and not even just the system, but also society. Because let's say you find one of these so-called good girls who's Christian and traditional, but
I think he's going to give us the answer here, what he thinks the answer is. I guess it's not leading men to be better necessarily, but I think he's going to tell us. Let's keep listening.
Osmosis. Wherever you go, she's going to be in society. She's going to be on TikTok. She's going to be on Instagram. She's going to be talking to other women. And maybe she's one way when you meet and get married, but 10 years down the road, 15 years, 20 years down the road, people change. And I think that
he's talking about 15, 20 years down the road. I mean, here's what I think. I think if you're Nick Fuentes and you believe in God, then you let things happen. You grow wiser, you learn lessons, you continue to evolve as a person, and you understand that the people are put in your path for certain reasons. And if you keep, I think women kind of intuitively understand this, if you keep doing everything that you're supposed to do according to your intuition, you will find that person, or at least move forward in your life's journey. I know that sounds very spiritual. I am a spiritual person, and I do believe that. Let's continue to listen to what old Nick has to say here.
Women as kind of the ultimate conformists, the ultimate enforcers of like social norms. I think eventually the pressure from society kind of gets to them, and a lot of them will go into
Depends what kind of husbands they have. I mean, if there's real leadership at home, I don't know a single happily married woman who's liberal. Not one. I know a lot of married women. I mean, I'm 56. All the women I know are married.
Mm-hmm.
And every happily married woman is non-liberal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine. There's no category for happily married, middle-aged liberal woman. There hasn't never been one.
Right.
So, like, maybe the job is...
That's very interesting. But I think he's wrong, though. I think a lot of women go to New York, and maybe he's not thinking about that right now, but in New York City, there's a lot of middle-aged liberal women.
To, make a girl happy and, like, all this nonsense ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a bottomless pit, too, because the one critique I have of the men is, and you're right about this, they enable this behavior.
What? That's for sure.
It's epidemic of simp.
Okay, before he gets into the whole simp stuff, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there because I think I know where they're going. It's good to hear their thoughts, and you've heard where I disagree. Drop your thoughts, please, in the comments, and I will get back at you guys in the next video. Until then, I'm going to chunk that deuce.